It's September 29th, 2017.
And this is Nerd Bourbon episode 17. I am anthropomorphic blob boy Seth Sturgill.
And I am the one true king, Todd Sturgill.
Todd, let's before we get into the triage of bullshit that we have for the fine folks today, let's get some housekeeping done. We just got done recording this week's episode, or this month's episode of Book Club. So go listen to that. It is going to be live today when you're listening to this. It's about Masters of Doom, which I think Todd and I both agree is a really good book.
Mm-hmm.
And that episode is live now. You can go listen to it. If you have read the book along with us this month, great. If not, and you would just like to hear us talk about it, that's also great. Go listen to it either way. And we will reveal next week what next month's book is going to be. We already kind of have some ideas, but we're gonna reveal that next week. The only other thing I wanted to mention is, Todd, do you want to tell the fine folks, if they go onto our YouTube channel right now, what are they going to see?
Ah, yes, the new playlist, Nerd Bourbon Plays, where you will see, well, when we start streaming, you will see stream archives, and you will also see just maybe, at the moment, all you're going to see is two clips at the moment. But
yes, I actually, I got two clips that I ripped off of. One of them is a Destiny 2 clip that is amusing that we recently did. We've been playing in a PSN party, like, specifically for that reason. So that I could capture footage and audio of us playing. But I also had an old clip from when we were playing through For Honor, and they're both amusing. They're short clips. That's the only thing that's under the Nerd Bourbon Plays banner right now. But as Todd said, eventually there's going to be stream archives on there because we're going to start Twitch streaming next month. If you haven't followed us on Twitch yet, you should go ahead and do that at Nerd Bourbon, because we're going to announce on Facebook and Twitter our kind of streaming schedules. I don't know if we're going to do a set schedule every week or anything like that.
It's going to be more of a thing where we just make a post, like, hey, we're going to go live.
Yeah, I think we're just going to kind of announce it either on the show when we're going to go live, or maybe I'll hash out a month's worth of okay, we'll do this on this day or whatever, and then kind of announce that on the show. Whatever the case may be, you guys will know about it beforehand. And follow us on Twitter at Nerd Bourbon for kind of consistent to the minute updates about our streaming. I'm planning on in October. To start off with, we're just basically going to be streaming off of our PS4s. We don't have any capture software yet, or capture hardware yet. We do plan on getting that in the future. Mm-hmm. It's more so just a money thing. So once we kind of get the finances together to do that, you remember this is a fucking independent endeavor for us. So we once we get the finances together to get proper PC capture technology, we're going to do that. But to start, I think the PlayStation 4's streaming, built-in software is totally solid. I think we've already gotten some really good footage off of it. So in October, I'm going to be doing kind of horror game streams, and I'm going to be doing a full playthrough of Resident Evil 7 and a full playthrough of Outlast 2 during the month of October, which I think is kind of thematically appropriate. Todd's probably going to join in, at least for some of those streams.
Yeah, just jump in maybe in a PSN party and whatnot.
Yeah, that way you guys can get Todd's audio. You guys can talk to Todd and I while I'm playing Resident Evil 7. Todd will be watching along with you guys. Todd will be moderating chat. That way, he can kind of moderate chat and kind of let me know what you guys are saying as I'm playing, and it'll be fun. We'll have a good time. So subscribe to us. Tell your friends to subscribe to us too, because it's going to be a good time. With all of that housekeeping business out of the way, let's talk about what we've been up to this week. Let's start with the Monster Hunter World trailer. Man, at TGS they showed a new trailer for Monster Hunter World, and I was like, how does this game look this fucking good? Mm-hmm. Because you and I played what was it? Was it Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate?
Yeah, it was 4 Ultimate on the 3DS. And even that, I had a lot of fun playing that with you.
Yeah, I had a good time. We got some really stupid inside jokes out of it. Korotorais. I love that we said that at the same time.
It's absolutely beautiful.
We got some good inside jokes out of it. I just think that Monster Hunter World, though, man, that game looks fucking phenomenal. Just from the graphics to the scale that Monster Hunter has always been so good at. It looks like it has a legit story this time. I love some of the monster designs that we see in the trailer. If you're telling me that I'm gonna have that game on my PS4 and I can play it online co-op with you, I'm fucking there, dude.
Dude, seriously, I've been interested in that game since we saw it at the last E3, and I was just ooh.
Yeah, they revealed it last E3, and you can go back and listen to our very early episodes where we mentioned that. But I think I was like, we were watching it. I think it was at Sony's conference they revealed it, and like I was looking, I was like, we were like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, wait a minute, I think this is Monster Hunter. And I've been interested in it, but now like seeing this TGS trailer is what really kind of sold me, and I'm like, I think this is a day one purchase for me. Like on some real shit, if this game ends up being as good as it looks, I am so there. Like, and you know, from everything we've heard and read, the game is gonna like control a lot more fluidly, a lot more in line with modern kind of game design conventions, because Monster Hunter has always had these like clunky-ish controls, you know. So I'm just really, really looking forward to that game, and it comes out pretty soon, dude. Like it comes out January 26th, 2018, which is basically,
well, that's a birthday present to myself.
Yeah, it's like what, a few days after your birthday, like 4 days after your birthday. So yeah, dude, like that's basically 2017 at this point. So it's right around the corner, dude. I'm like really hyped. That might be my first purchase of 2018 in terms of video games.
I think it's definitely going to be mine.
I think that's a good segue to talk about another kind of talking point I wanted to mention. I find myself, you know, and I've talked to you about this sort of in private, but like I haven't bought a whole lot of games this year. Not for lack of interest, but like Titanfall 2 last year really was a bit of a turning point for me, and you and I both love Titanfall 2. I think it's an excellent game, and I was happy to support it on day one. But like Titanfall 2 was literally like $30 like a week after it came out.
Yeah, that's
and I was like, man, that game really kind of showed me like I'm kind of an idiot to buy games at launch now. You know what I mean? Like games these days, they come out and they're on sale 2 or 3 weeks later. And like it helps me out too on, you know, just from a pure time perspective, because like, you know, you and I work and we you know, I have like a, you know, fucking job and fucking this podcast to work with, so I don't have a whole lot of free time to play games. And like, you know, it's nice to be able to really enjoy the ones I have. Like I just finished Horizon, which came out in fucking February. You know, so like it's I've got a backlog that's extensive, and it helps that I'm not buying that many games this year. But what I've found, like I'm literally, the only other game that I'm buying for the rest of the year in terms of AAA day one releases is Mario Odyssey. That's it. Like I keep flip-flopping on South Park. Like I really want to play South Park, and I might get it on day one, but it comes out 10 days before Mario, and I'm like, I would have to beat it before Mario, because Mario's going to absorb my life. And then we got, you know, book club books to read in between all of that. So I just, you know, like Assassin's Creed coming out the same day as Mario means I'm not buying that on day one. You know, I'm not getting Call of Duty. I'm not getting Star Wars Battlefront. I'm not getting most of the big games this fall. I couple that with what I've noticed myself doing lately is, because I'm not buying so many big AAA games, I've noticed myself being a little bit more frivolous with small purchases. Like small indie games or what? Yeah, like small indie games and stuff like that, and like not you know, I play a lot of indie games anyway. You joked one time that like I should do a segment called Seth's Indie Corner. I play a lot of independent games that are kind of tiny as it is, but like it's not even really that. It's also just like I bought there was a PSN flash sale a few days ago, or I think it might still be going on at the time of this recording, and like Batman Return to Arkham was like $11.99, and I just bought it, and I don't really know why. Like I'm not gonna have time to play those games anytime soon, but I just bought it because it was cheap.
That's how I feel about the Steam like summer sales and shit. And it's like I remember back like this is years ago. Our mutual friend Dan asked like, "Are you even gonna play any of those?" I'm like, "Nah, probably not. They're nice to have."
I'm not normally like this though. I'm normally very sensible with like small purchases. I'm normally just kind of like, you know, I don't need that. But now that I'm not buying so many $60 day one purchases, like I think I'm probably gonna like clean up around Black Friday time. Like if I find Assassin's Creed for like $40 or South Park on sale, of course I'm gonna grab it, you know, and that'll just be more stuff for me to play into next year. But like I don't buy very many games on day one anymore, and as a result, I find myself being a little more frivolous. Like I bought like Pokemon Silver. They just put that out on Virtual Console. It's like one of my favorite games ever. And they put that out on the 3DS Virtual Console for like $10, and like I fucking bought it. I'm not gonna make time to play through Pokemon Silver again. Like that's not gonna happen, and I know that's not gonna happen. But it was cheap, and it was in my face, and like I bought it. And I don't know, it's weird because I'm not normally this guy. Another game that I bought recently, and I haven't even touched it yet, is SteamWorld Dig 2, which just came out on Switch. And I really, really love these SteamWorld games, so I probably would have ended up buying it anyway. But, like, who knows when I'm going to have time to play that? You know? Like, I don't know. It's a weird thing that I've realized about myself. If a game is in that, like, $10 to $15 spot, I'm probably going to buy it at this point, you know? I don't know. I need to sort of reevaluate my stance. I need to demonstrate a little more restraint on these cheap games, because when you buy so many cheap games, they become expensive games.
Oh, that's some real shit right there.
Put that on a fucking t-shirt. Did you play the demo for Project Octopath Traveler?
I did not get around to it yet. Honestly, I need to jump on my Switch and set that up.
Man, it's so good. I'll say this. It's the Octopath Traveler is that game that we saw during the last Nintendo Direct that was sort of, they called it HD 2D, where it's like this beautiful, like it's pixel art, but then it also has like this really impressive like background that is like nice, and the textures are really good, and the lighting is fucking amazing. I really, really like this. I don't want to go too in depth because you're yet to play it. It's like I was really impressed by like the story it tells. You're able to play 2 of the 8 characters, which is why it's called Project Octopath Traveler, which is like the stupidest fucking name I've ever heard. God,
well, that's just the working title right now.
It is, but it's still the stupidest working title. That's up there with Hellblade for being like the dumbest title for a very good video game.
They honestly could have just got away with calling Hellblade just Senua's Sacrifice.
Yeah, but it was just the reason they did that is because like nobody wants to buy a game called Senua's Sacrifice. They want to buy Hellblade. It's so badass. And then they buy it, and it's like a game about mental health. But a very good game about mental health. Go listen to that episode of Shots. Ding ding ding.
Gotta get that plug in.
Gotta get that shameless plug. But Octopath Traveler, it's like a very traditional JRPG by the guys who did the Bravely Default games, which I've never played. I've heard nothing but great things about them. But this demo totally reads like an old Final Fantasy game, like in the vein of like Final Fantasy VI, which is like another of my favorite games of all time. Like it is so old school, this game, and I love like it features like almost full voice acting, which is another thing I didn't expect. Like, this demo honestly feels, like, really, really complete, really near final. And, like, they could literally ship that demo tomorrow and charge, like, $20, and I would have paid it. Like, it's really, really good. And the story, the kind of stories of these characters and the way they sort of, like, link up is really unique and impressive, and it does some gameplay things that I really like. I don't know, I just wasn't very interested in it at first, and it became kind of like a day one purchase for me. When this comes out next year, this is going to be such a great Switch exclusive, you know? Like, I can't believe I'm going to have a game like this that I can play wherever I want. Mm-hmm. But anyway, check out that demo, man. I think you're really going to like it. Maybe we'll come back next week and talk about it more when you've played it.
Yeah, definitely.
Switch is a good segue into the next thing that I wanted to briefly talk about. Did you read about this thing?
I did.
Oh, my God. This fucking wrecked me, dude.
Did you cry?
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? You know that I was very wrecked by the passing over 2 years ago now, I think, of Satoru Iwata. Like, that really fucking destroyed me because, you know, like, you're not going to find a bigger Nintendo fan than me, and Iwata was such an influential Nintendo designer and such a core piece of Nintendo, and as it, you know, he was really just sort of the heart of Nintendo. And as it turns out, he's also kind of the heart of your Switch, because in every Switch is a copy of NES Golf that is hidden. And the way that, and people have known about it, I guess how this all started was hackers were starting to look at the Switch and they noticed like a file that was inaccessible called flog, which is golf backwards.
Yeah.
And apparently they've been trying to like figure out how to access this, and recently, like within the past week, they've realized that what you have to do is it's locked to a certain time, so it needs to be on July 11th, which is the anniversary of Iwata's passing. And you need to make certain motion movements because the NES Golf, you can actually use the Joy-Con to like swing the golf club and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But if you on July 11th, if you take the two Joy-Cons and make the same motion that Iwata always did with his two hands to introduce the Nintendo Direct,
oh no,
where he would say directly to you, it unlocks. Oh, I got goosebumps even just thinking about it.
That's depressing.
It unlocks NES Golf, which is the first game that Iwata ever programmed. And I was like, oh, dude, this wrecked me to my fucking core. Like, when I heard about this, I fucking bawled. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is the sweetest thing. So, like, and it's, it's funny because...
I won't lie to you. I'm kind of tearing up a little bit.
Like, dude, it's so sweet. Like, I love Nintendo so goddamn much. Like, Iwata, like, you think about it and you're like, well, why didn't they put it on, like, Iwata's birthday or something like that? In Japan, in Japanese culture, death is not looked at as a bad thing, necessarily. I mean, it is, but it's not like... They don't necessarily celebrate death, but they do kind of, like... They don't want to focus on the negative side of death.
Yeah.
They want to celebrate the life of Iwata. And, like, so on his death date, making that motion is sort of Nintendo's way of, like, saying, like, Iwata's life is encapsulated in this console. And if I didn't already love the Switch enough, I love it even more now. Like, God, that's such an amazing thing. And I think there have been Easter eggs in video game consoles before, but I think that is by far the best one. And like... When July 11th rolls around, you better fucking believe I'm going to be doing that. Because they made this thing, you can't just like kind of trick your console into thinking it's July 11th. If you've ever connected your Switch to the internet, it's too late. You're already fucked. The Switch can't be tricked anymore. So, anyway, before I fucking start blubbering like an idiot over this mic, let's talk about, I finally convinced you to start watching Steven Universe.
Yes, you did.
How are you finding it? We're what, 12 or 13 episodes into the first season?
I've been enjoying it. And again, Steven Universe to me, and a couple other things like it, the fans of the show push me away from shit like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy that you were able to convince me because I actually do enjoy it very much.
I love that show so much, and I can't wait. We were thinking about like when I was gonna start watching it with you. There is and I've told you about this, but just for the folks at home who don't know, there is a sort of fan-made thing called Flood Order. And what Flood Order is, the first season of Steven Universe is a weird beast, because, like, it really isn't until, like, halfway through the first season that, like, the story really kind of picks up. There's a lot of, like, just sort of throwaway episodes in the first half. So what Flood Order does, Flood Order takes the first half of the first season and sort of determines the kind of important episodes that have need-to-know information, and then from there on, you watch the rest of it as intended. And it's sort of, basically the intention is get a new viewer to fall in love with it as quickly as possible. But, like, we watched the first, like, 6 or 7 episodes or something like that, and I was like, should we do Flood Order? And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, no. Flood Order skips the Tiger Millionaire episode. Fuck Flood Order. Because Tiger Millionaire cannot be skipped.
Well, it's like some of the episodes that were going to be skipped were like my favorite episodes, like Tiger Millionaire and even the Frybo, whatever the hell episode.
Frybo, yeah.
Frybo is like, that shit was beautiful.
Like the early episodes are great. There's just no... I guess for Steven Universe fans, it's so weird to watch those early episodes because the things that we love about Steven Universe are the characters and, like, the story and the world, and that stuff isn't super present in those early episodes. I love them; they're fun, but that stuff doesn't really come into play until, like, later, like way later. Mm-hmm. It's very, like, flavor of the week until that point, which is fine. So, but anyway, we opted to just sort of watch them in order as they aired, and you're liking it in spite of that. So that's a good thing. I'm looking forward to watching more with you. I can't wait. I really think that once shit starts to get real, you're gonna be hooked on this fucking show just like I am. I can't wait. I love it so much, and I'm so ready for the new season. It's been dude, it's been hard. Like lately I've been the itch, the craving has been getting to me.
So is it like the way you feel about Steven Universe? Is it how I feel for Berserk?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like it just feels like the hiatus is real. It's probably not as bad as the Berserk hiatus is, but like the between
nothing.
the between season hiatuses for Steven Universe are real, dude. Like I am hungry right now. I am so hungry. So it's nice to be rewatching it with you to sort of scratch that Steven itch. So anyway, maybe we'll update later as we watch more. I want to introduce a concept to the show. Maybe not a whole new segment. Maybe, I don't think this will be a every week thing, but we've been talking about Destiny 2 enough. I think it's time for a Destiny update.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. I feel like I need to put some music like Destiny update. Shit. Give the fine folks a Destiny update. What have we been doing this past week in Destiny?
Getting raid ready, son.
Getting raid ready. Where are we at right now? You're at what, 291?
Yeah, I hover around with like all my gear. I hover around 289 to 291. 291 is my maximum light right now.
Yeah. I think my maximum light is 288, and I hover around 287, 286. So I'm like, we're both right around that high 280s, low 290s kind of point, and we're totally raid ready. We're actually, by the time you hear this, we will have hopefully already done the raid. But at the time of this recording, we have not done it yet. Next week's Destiny update is going to be more substantial because we will have hopefully done the raid and Trials of the Nine. We're tackling that tomorrow as of this recording. So next week's Destiny update will be substantial. This week's a little bit just like we're just kind of trying to get raid ready, doing the Nightfall. How'd you feel about the Nightfall this week, Todd?
All right. I've grown accustomed to the whole time warp shit. I'm still not a big fan of it, of the time warps
I think
that they've been doing.
I think if we got maybe like 2 time warps a month, you know,
I'd be fine with it. Like I want that because I do see where some people are coming from. Like, hey, if you want a challenge, that's a challenge. You got to do it in the time limit. But like the other part of me is like,
I think the game. I think what's his name, Dado, or Dado or whatever his name is.
And Dado, whatever.
Yeah, I think he makes a solid point in that like really there aren't enough great ways for you to get great loot in this game. You know, like the Nightfall is already very doable, and you get basically you get 2 luminous engrams from doing the Nightfall every week if you're in a clan. Mm-hmm. And there are already so many ways to get other luminous engrams, especially if you're in a clan for weekly clan rewards. Like, I mean, it's a little bit. Destiny 2 is way better about its loot game than D1 was. So it's almost like, how easy do you really want it to be?
Exactly.
You know?
And then, actually, one thing that I saw another Destiny guy, you've watched him a little bit, Gathalion.
Yeah.
He said something about like how like all they really need to do to make strikes more worth doing is honestly like I said this when we were doing I think we were doing the Nightfall, and I think I said like all they really need to do is add like actually strike exclusive loot like they did in Destiny 1.
I totally agree with that.
At that point, because I was even saying like, hey, give them hunters that sick Thavix cloak, huh?
Yeah, I would love that. I would. The idea of strike exclusive gear was great, and I'm honestly a little shocked that it didn't make a return yet.
Well, again, that's like I think I was talking to you about this. Is just like, you know, Bungie, the actual development team moved on to Destiny 2, and then there was the live team that made a lot of those changes, and the main development team didn't really take any of those changes that the live team made. Right.
And then that makes sense, and it's a little bit of a bummer, but as I keep saying, I can't wait to see what this game becomes. Mm-hmm. Who knows? By the time the Osiris expansion comes out in December, who knows where this game's going to be? I mean, maybe they'll integrate something like that with the next expansion. Because I imagine that's something that they could pull. I mean, shit. If they were able to do it in Destiny 1, why can't they do it here?
Well, the only thing I truly want in this life is to be able to shade my sword.
The only thing I want in this life is to be able to use different guns to infuse different guns.
Yeah. That's some real shit.
That is probably my number one complaint. I keep forgetting to bring this up on the podcast, but now I am, because now it's a Destiny update, bitch. but I hate that I have to have another submachine gun to infuse my Mida mini tool. Like,
Yeah, that's some real shit. Because like I love my Mida mini tool, and it's like honestly, usually my go-to like main like energy weapon. Because it's like I use Sturm, I use Mida mini tool, but I haven't really been using it because it's like it's falling behind some of my other weapons, and I'm like, fuck.
Like I can't feasibly use it because all of my other weapons are better now because I haven't had any good submachine gun drops so that I can infuse it, and it's fucking annoying. Like that's such a dumb mechanic.
That carried over to my sword for a while too, because like my sword was like at like 260 for a while. Then I was like, I finally got lucky enough to get like a really solid sword. I got that up to like 290. I got my sword up to like 295 now.
Yeah, I think my sword's at like 291, and that was only because I got a crucible sword drop that I was able to use as infusion fuel for my quick fang. Running around with my quick fang like a weeb motherfucker. But that's like my number one complaint right now, mechanics wise with Destiny. That's the biggest issue I have with it. Just let me take whatever weapon I want and infuse it with whatever weapon I want. Now, you can put a statute of limitations, like don't let me use kinetic weapons for kinetic weapons and energy weapons with energy weapons and power weapons and power weapons, but don't force me to use a submachine gun for a submachine gun. You know, that's so dumb. Like, I'm over that, dude. Please fix Bungie.
Yeah, it's some real shit.
Lazy devs. Anyway, that's the Destiny update for this week. With that, do you want to get into our topics? Do you want to go first this week?
Yeah, I will go first this week. And this is actually something that I think I've talked to you in private about a lot.
Yeah.
And then like even like outside of like the podcast, outside of even talking to you, I've talked to people at my job about this.
We've mentioned this a little bit. I think we touched on this briefly during the early episodes, but yeah.
Now we're going to get in depth on this shit.
Yeah.
So, the title of this, I'm just going to give the title. So, when developers lose their steam.
Mm-hmm.
So, I honestly, it's just like, some certain developers have like, honestly, like, you know, they used to be like, they're known for like some fantastic games.
Yeah.
But lately, they're kind of, the most recent games they've come out with, it's been like weak as shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, developers sometimes like, you know, and this happens a lot. Like sometimes series overstay their welcome, or sometimes developers.
I will touch on that what you just said right there as well.
So basically, what I've done is I have a list here of just sort of like developers for examples. There are more than this, but just right off the bat, some developers you wanted to talk about. Jump right into it, dude. Who do you want to start with?
Honestly, I want to start with BioWare. Let's get the biggest shit out of the way.
I mentioned this, I think, when we were talking about Anthem, and also when we were talking about in episode 14 when we were talking about Jade Empire 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like BioWare is so tarnished now, man. Like, it's so sad. Like the way that BioWare has sort of broken apart and crumbled.
Seriously, dude. Like, you think about like Mass Effect 2. Even, like, some people can say Mass Effect 3 kind of was but...
I really like Mass Effect 3 still.
I know, but a lot of people do shit on that ending.
Yeah, I understand, yeah.
But then it's just like, Mass Effect Andromeda.
That game's garbage, dude. I tried so hard to like that game.
Oh, so did I. I tried.
I tried to tell myself that I was enjoying it for, like, the first, like, 7 hours. I was like, oh yeah, no, this is it's good. It's good. I like it.
No, it's not. It's just not.
It's a bit, it's sad. It makes me so, I don't know if I can accurately describe the sadness that I feel for the loss of Mass Effect, because like, I turn on, Twitter, and it's like, I follow a few like game sale pages, and it's like Mass Effect Andromeda is $15 on Amazon. That's
just depressing.
And I'm like, oh, the game just came out 6 months ago, and it's already like, it just makes me sad. I'm like, this is where Mass Effect is right now.
That's the worst part about it. It's just like when that thing was like, we were seeing the trailers, like for like, well, when was that motherfucker announced?
It was announced in like 2013, I think.
Yeah, and we just occasionally see something at like almost every E3, and it's just like we weren't seeing enough of it.
I was saying for years, I knew there was problems with that game, but I didn't want. I still had hope that the game was going to come out and at least be good. And it was not. It's just not, and it's a bummer because now the Mass Effect team, like they had like DLC plans that are no longer happening. the Mass Effect team, from what we kind of have heard, has been sort of liquidized, and they are no longer working on Mass Effect, and the sort of future of Mass Effect has kind of been put on ice.
Wow, dude, that's fucking terrible.
Like Mass Effect Andromeda sort of effectively killed Mass Effect. And it's sad, dude. Like, I don't even know what to think. And, like, you know, BioWare's got Anthem coming out, which looks really, really good.
It looks really good, but now it's just like, I'm a little worried about it.
Yeah, because before, you know, there was a time when I would have put BioWare alongside developers like Valve and Naughty Dog, and, like, they were cream of the crop developers, you know what I mean? And, like, they're so tarnished now. Like, really, the last truly great game they made was probably Mass Effect 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I definitely agree with you on that.
You know, if you like I said, I like 3 more than most people do, but you know, taking that out of the equation, like Dragon Age 2 fucking sucked. I didn't like Inquisition. Like Andromeda sucks. Just it's such a bummer. Like I hate to see developers go this way. And you think about the height, like back in like and we mentioned this in episode 14, like back in like the 2000s, like the early to mid 2000s, BioWare was on such a high. Like they're putting out games like KOTOR and Jade Empire, and then even the first Mass Effect and the first Dragon Age.
Mm-hmm.
Those games are fucking amazing, you know? And it's such a bummer that like we don't have that BioWare anymore. I even maintain that BioWare made one of the best Sonic games. A lot of people, yes, a lot of people don't like their Sonic game. Have you not heard of this?
Did they make a Sonic game?
They did. It was for DS. Shit, I'm blanking on the name. Let me Google this real quick. I think it was called Sonic. Yeah, Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood. It was a Sonic RPG.
Sounds like a fucking fever dream.
Yeah, no, it's a real thing. It was made by BioWare. It's a Sonic RPG, and I actually like it. A lot of people don't, but I actually...
True Sonic fans don't like it. No, I was talking...
Oh, that's probably some real shit. I'm not a true Sonic fan. I like Sonic fine, but I think Sonic has been that shit. Sega and Sonic Team is another developer that could have been on this list.
There's a couple of things that I might add because I realized I do want to talk about it.
But anyway, that it was a good game. It was kind of like a Mario. It was kind of a Mario RPG take on, you know, by way of Sonic from BioWare, and I even like that game. And like, you know, they can't even make anything that good anymore, you know, and it's just a bummer. BioWare bums me out, dude, in a big bad way.
All right, so yeah, next developer.
I just want to add before we move on to the next one. I just want to add, guys, Anthem, please make Anthem good. Anyway,
that's some real shit because like like the E3 trailer of that, I'm just like, ooh, what's this?
Anyway, I'm done with you, BioWare. Next developer, come forward.
To Bethesda. Now, Bethesda.
I think a lot of people would be surprised to hear us say this.
Oh no, you know, you're probably right about that, but honestly, I can shit on Bethesda right now because look at Skyrim. Like shit, they need to stop looking at Skyrim.
Let's release Skyrim for the 74th time.
Oh, I swear to God. But like, look at Skyrim. Look at the past games, and then look at Fallout 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like Fallout 4 is not a bad game.
I like Fallout 4.
It's not a bad game. It is a solid game, but it has its issues. And again, Bethesda is always known to have some issues. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna like sit there and deny that because like shit, I remember playing which game had the Pit DLC?
That was Fallout 3.
So Fallout 3, I remember that shit was bad with some bugs.
Yeah, here's my whole thing with Bethesda. They still make good games, but they can't keep getting away with this. They can't. Mm-hmm. We can't keep letting Bethesda get away with this shit. It's not okay anymore. Like, it's not. Like, games like The Witcher, and I even brought this up when you and I were playing through Dying Light in co-op. Like, these games have proven that you can make games just as big and just as detailed as Bethesda that don't look like shit and that aren't...
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did make that point when we were playing Dying Light in co-op. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because I'm like, Dying Light has just as many, if not more, side quests than Bethesda, than Fallout 4. It has, you know, all these characters. It has, you know, it has loot and everything like that. It has everything that Fallout 4 has, and it has like a parkour system, and like the world, I would say, is probably just as big as fucking 2 open worlds, you know. So
Yeah, shit. Especially with the expansion, yeah.
Yeah, and then the expansion, so like,
Well, technically, so yeah, no, it technically has 3 areas.
yeah.
So it has the slums. I forget what the other one was called.
Is it just
and then,
the city?
I thought it probably is.
Yeah, it's something like that. And then yeah, it's got, from the following, that whole area. Or is that what it's called? The following?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the expansion.
So it's got like that whole huge area. So I mean, the game technically has like 3 open worlds, and it's gorgeous and it's detailed. And I when we were playing that, I was like, Bethesda has no excuse.
Mm-hmm.
There is no excuse.
Yeah, because I think we were playing that just around the time, like, I think Fallout 4 kind of came out.
Yeah, and I was just like, fuck this, man. Like I'm sick of making excuses for Bethesda. Like that's always everybody when a Bethesda game comes out and it's like buggy and it's ugly and shit like that. Everybody's like, yeah, but it's Bethesda and it's hard to make games that are this. And I'm like, no, it's not, because way smaller teams with way less time and way less money are making better games.
That's some real shit right there.
So like, Bethesda, I love you and I still love you in a lot of ways, but I fucking had it. I've had it up to here.
Some real shit. That's some real shit right there, man.
I'm a huge Bethesda fan, dude, and but if Elder Scrolls 6 comes out and it's still running on that fucking Skyrim engine,
bro, I will. They need to. Yeah, that shit's dead.
That you gotta just. You have basically unlimited time and unlimited resources because these games sell so well. These are evergreen games. They sell so well, and Fallout 4 I think is actually the best-selling game in their history. You have unlimited time and unlimited resources. Make a entirely new engine. Start from scratch. Make a whole new engine for Elder Scrolls 6.
And one thing, what they really need to do is just let what's the team that made New Vegas?
Obsidian.
Let Obsidian make another Fallout.
Yeah, even that would be fine. And I don't have an issue with spin-off games utilizing the same engine, but when it is a mainline Bethesda game that is like, there's a gap of like fucking like 5 years between releases, like, it's not okay to just use the same engine and release it as a buggy mess. And that's not okay, because these other indie developers like CD Projekt Red is showing you up, dude. Like, The Witcher, and I don't even play The Witcher, and The Witcher is like way more impressive to me than Fallout 4.
Oh yeah, that's, again, I think me and you are kind of the same thing. I never one, don't have the time to play that game.
Yeah.
2, I don't want to jump into a series at the fucking ass end of it.
Right. Yeah, I tried Witcher 1 and 2, and I just wasn't a huge fan of it. I'm sure if I sat and really gave it time, I could get into it, but Witcher 3, I look at that and Dying Light, those were the 2 games that I always pointed to where I was like, Bethesda has no excuse, man. Not a one in my mind. It's not okay. Yeah. We can't keep letting them do this shit. Anyway.
That's some real shit.
I'm done with Bethesda. Bring in the next developer.
The next developer is Platinum
Games. This one bums me out because Platinum Games makes some great games.
They did recently make a fucking solid one.
Yeah, Nier.
With Nier. So good on them for that. But let's go a little further back. Like, they made some stinkers.
They made some stinkers, dude. Like when Platinum first came around, and like we're talking about games like Bayonetta and Vanquish and stuff like that. These are like some of the best action games ever made. And it got to the point where it was, and even like Metal Gear Revengeance. Oh, that's a fucking amazing game, Mm-hmm. And then like you turn around and you see like, Platinum's involved with Legend of Korra game. Great, that game fucking sucks. That game is so bad. Like, Platinum's involved with the Transformers game. That game's so like middling. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Wonderful 101. It's okay, but it's not as good as any of these other Platinum games. Like, the Platinum reputation is tarnished, dude.
So if you guys haven't realized, what we're getting at is people are tarnishing their reputation.
I just think it's, I understand, and I think Platinum Games like works with Activision a lot and stuff like that, and Activision likes a quick turnaround with their games and stuff, but I'm just sort of like, and they have this kind of like this history of like, even if you look at even Scalebound, getting canceled and everything like that. It's just it's a bummer.
So in a weird way, I was a tad bit interested in that game.
Yeah.
A tad. Like, when I say like maybe like a 5% interest.
And I was never interested in that game, but I would be remiss not to mention the fucking TMNT game that they made that we couldn't even get to work. Like we tried to play that game.
I don't think that was on them. I think that was on Xbox.
Maybe it was. I don't know. But fucking A, like I'm just like playing these really just bad platinum games. Like when you used to see the platinum game logo, that used to mean something. And platinum hasn't been around for that long. They've been around for like 8 or 9 years, I think. But their pedigree is such that like when they even Mad World on Wii, I love that game. Mm-hmm. Like Mad World and Bayonetta and Vanquish, these are excellent games. And they really Platinum is an example of a developer that almost like was so good so early that like anything they made later would be viewed as bad. But no, Legend of Korra and TMNT, those are just bad games, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to the point now where it's like you see the Platinum logo or that Platinum's attached to something and you're like, okay, is this good Platinum or bad Platinum?
That's fucked up, and that's some real shit. Again, like I'm really happy with Nier Automata. That's like such a fantastic game, and I honestly like if it's ever on sale, I do recommend it to anyone.
Yeah, that is one game. That's another thing I'm gonna be having my eye out for on Black Friday is Nier. Yeah, when Black Friday rolls around, I'll report back with my Black Friday haul because I do plan on picking up all of the games that I haven't bought day one on Black Friday. So. And Nier is one of them. I do want to play Nier. I hear great things about it. Again, Platinum, it's so hit or miss. And like they started out, I actually recently saw when Vanquish came out, I made a post on Facebook like Platinum's 3 for 3. They used to be batting 1,000. You know what I mean? Like,
mm-hmm.
And now they're not. Now it's again. When you hear that Platinum has a game coming out, is this good Platinum or is this shitty Platinum? You know.
That's some real shit right there.
Anyway, remove Todd. Remove Platinum from my plate.
On to the next dish.
The final dish that I wanted to bring up. I snuck this in.
This is the dish that you snuck into my fucking my plate. You bastard.
This vermin has snuck into our court.
But yeah, let's talk about Rare.
Rare. Oh, this is the most egregious example to me because Rare is a studio with like 30 years of history. 30 years of like great games. You need to look no further than Rare Replay, that was released on PC and Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was on PC. That game has that studio has such a storied history of great games, and they're doing fucking nothing now. They're making Sea of Thieves, which looks like okay. We don't really know much about it. I think Microsoft had Rare working on the avatars on Xbox, you know?
Get the fuck out of here, really?
Yes, like what are you doing, you know? Like it's such a bummer. Like they made all these great games, you know, from Donkey Kong to GoldenEye to Banjo to Perfect Dark to Conquer to Battletoads. Like,
what was the most recent game they made?
Oh, let me look this up here.
Like give me like within the last 10 years. Like,
within the last 10 years? Yeah, I mean, I think they were making some Kinect games for a little while. But I mean, let's see. Yeah, they have Kinect Sports. They made Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, which I actually like more than most people, but it's not a true Banjo game.
Mm-hmm.
From there, they made Kinect Sports and Kinect Sports Season 2. They're credited on the Killer Instinct game on Xbox One, but it was Iron Galaxy, I think, that actually made that.
Okay.
They made Kinect Sports Rivals on Xbox One. They are credited for Rare Replay, but I don't know if they actually handled that port. And then Sea of Thieves, which is not out yet. And that is what Rare has been doing since fucking 2008. That's sad.
That's disgusting.
And I think the last truly good Rare game that I can point to is a game. I actually mentioned this. I was thinking about this game somewhat recently, and I mentioned
That's
it to
actually
you.
I think you're about to mention the same game I was looking for. Cameo?
Cameo. Yeah, I like Cameo.
Cameo, I think, was the last Rare game that I've actually played.
Yeah. I mean, it's
and
sad.
I'm actually mad that I never beat it. I'll tell you why. I think I told you why I never beat it. It's because Red Ring of Death.
Oh, yeah, that sucks.
Lost all my progress. I was really far in that game, and I was just like, my heart was broken. Because that was honestly that was a good game.
Yeah, I mean, and it sort of fell off before then. Like, they, like they were making games like Star Fox Adventures, which I actually really like. A lot of people don't. But then they made like Grabbed by the Ghoulies, which kind of sucked. And Conquer Live and Reloaded is fine, and then but Cameo is actually pretty good. Perfect Dark Zero is pretty good, but then like it's just a downward spiral from there, dude. And so now they've got Sea of Thieves, and I think Sea of Thieves actually looks like a lot of fun, but like we don't really know anything about it, and it has no release date in sight. I think they just said 2018. We'll get to this a little bit later, but like Microsoft just doesn't have shit. And like Rare is a storied developer that they own, and they don't have them doing anything. Like Rare's just sitting there with their thumbs up their asses with IP like Banjo and Perfect Dark and not able to do anything with them.
It's a fucking joke, dude.
It's sad. It really makes me sad because Rare is responsible for some of, I listed at the beginning, like Rare is responsible for some of the best, games of the NES of the SNES and like N64 era. Like,
definitely.
Like, it's so good. But I don't know. Didn't you say that you had a sort of developer that you wanted to bring up?
Well, it's more or less just Gearbox.
Oh, that's sad.
Because I'm gonna be real, most Gearbox games are really anyways.
Yeah.
But the thing that they did, the money, the breadwinner, the money maker, Borderlands.
Yeah, and now like I think we mentioned this on episode 14. Like. I'm worried about Borderlands 3.
Oh, same. I'm like this is coming. This is like some of my favorite games of like all time, and I'm deathly worried about Borderlands 3. Like I'm so scared it's gonna be shit.
And they're I think what Gearbox is good at and what they've been doing a lot now is they've actually been kind of a publishing arm. Like they're publishing like. They publish like Homeworld and they're publishing We Happy Few and stuff like that. I think that's sort of what Gearbox should stick to, sadly. Like, as developers, I don't think they're that good. Like Battleborn, no. Like
that was my biggest issue. It's like Borderlands is your breadwinner and you guys, that's like, they're not doing anything with it.
If you look at their track record, let me just run you through this. This is their track record from 2010 until now. 2011, they put out Duke Nukem Forever. Which they kind of bought the rights to Duke Nukem. They own Duke Nukem now, and they kind of finished work on Duke Nukem Forever, which was pretty far along, but they finished it up and put it out, and it was a piece of shit. They put out Aliens Infestation and Aliens Colonial Marines, which are both bad. Borderlands 2, which is amazing. Fantastic game. We talk about it in episode 14 in detail. It's a great game. Borderlands pre-sequel, which I think they actually just published. I think it was like a 2K
Australia.
Yeah, that actually developed it. Good game, not amazing, but good.
It's a decent game, not a good Borderlands game.
They published the Homeworld game. They developed Battleborn just last year, which was no good, and has like basically died at this point. They put out.
I think the only thing they're working on now is like some weird like 1v1 thing.
Yeah, it's called like Project 1v1, I think, and we don't even really know what that is. And like they put out Duke Nukem 3D, which is basically a remaster of Duke Nukem 3D. They published Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition, and they're publishing We Happy Few, and that's it. Like they had a Brothers in Arms game that was in development that is I guess canceled. I don't know. Assumedly they're working on the next Borderlands game, but like. On one hand, it's like, yeah, Gearbox has fallen from grace. On the other hand, it's like, maybe Borderlands was all they really had.
Yep. That's honestly how I felt for years with Gearbox. Is like, Borderlands was their only thing that like honestly mattered.
Yeah, which is depressing. Because I don't know, it is a little bit sad, but I don't know. These developers, man. They've disappointed us, but I think the big takeaway, I think maybe people will listen to this. Maybe they'll think we're being a little bit mean. What I want to drive home with all of these is I think that we both still have kind of a optimistic outlook on it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I want these developers to make good games.
Yeah, like if you listen, like with BioWare, I want Anthem to be good. With Bethesda, I want you guys to do a new engine and make Elder Scrolls 6 a good game. I want Platinum to be more consistent. I want Rare to revisit some of their old franchises and really kind of remind themselves what made them great. I want Borderlands 3 to be great. But, anyway. Let's move on to my topic. I'll try to make this a little bit quick. I don't know. This is another. You know, it's funny. We both kind of brought mean topics this week.
Yeah. You know what? Because I feel like it kind of fit our mindset. Because we were talking about like we both kind of wanted it to be more of a video game centric episode.
Yeah. I felt like we hadn't done like a full on just nothing but video games episode in a while.
And yeah, this is getting our full mindset of video games at the moment.
I think 2017 has actually been a really good year, but you know, coming into the fall, I sort of have some mixed thoughts about the big three. You know, coming into this fall like holiday season, I wanted to sort of do a fall report card topic and sort of see how do we think the big three are holding up. And really, I say this is a mean or negative topic. I don't think it really is. Ultimately, I think there is one of them, which should be obvious, that is going to be negative. But, you know, it's, you know, when you talk about Microsoft coming into this fall, right? They've got the Xbox One X, which is an impressive piece of hardware. But you don't have any fucking games to play on it. Like, it comes out on November 7th, and the big deal, you know, was like, oh, Crackdown 3 is finally going to come out, day and date. Not anymore. Got delayed.
I actually, I didn't know that. I was actually reading through the show notes, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It got delayed again? Like, what?
Yeah. Crackdown 3, delayed yet again. It got delayed to next spring.
Get the fuck out of here, dude.
So it's like, fuck, like, fucking, what are we going to do with these folks? Like, they can't seem to put shit out. Cuphead comes out actually today. But, like, I can play that on my PC if I want. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Forza 7 comes out October 3rd, but, like, you know, and there's a subset of people who give a shit about that, but, like, your hardcore audience, man, that, like, Xbox One X is going to do really well for people that just want the latest and greatest thing. And I even kind of want one for a 4K Blu-ray player.
Yep.
But, like, there's just no fucking games to play on the thing. And it's such a bummer because, like Microsoft's strategy is such a reverse from what I think they should be doing. Like, if you look at Microsoft's strategy now is sort of like the inverse of Sony's strategy last year, or last generation. Because Sony's strategy on the last generation was like, okay, we've already lost the console war, you know, be it as it may. We've already lost to Xbox 360. Xbox 360 is outselling us. PS3 started off on the wrong foot, you know. Mm-hmm. So all we can do now is put out really, really good games and make people want a PS3 for the exclusives, if nothing else. Because, like, they started in 2000, I think 6 is when both of those consoles came out. PS3 was way too expensive. It didn't have any good games. It had the shitty 6-axis, you know, that didn't really work with games like Lair and shit like that.
Which game was Lair?
Lair was that dragon game.
Oh, yeah, that fucking game.
That motion control dragon game. They ended up patching the motion controls out.
Yeah, I remember playing that, and the motion controls are really bad.
Anyway, it launched. It had a kind of bad footing, you know, with 6-axis, and it was way overpriced. And then they ended up kind of turning it around because games like, you know, Ratchet and Clank were out, and Uncharted was out, and stuff like The Last of Us, and they sort of adopted the strategy of, okay, we're not going to win, but we can at least put up a fighting chance with these really good exclusives, and we're going to make you want a PS3, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft is in that same position, but are handling it so much worse. They're not going to win the console war against PS4. PS4 is outselling them almost 2-1. You would think that their strategy would be, okay, let's double down on software. Let's make it so that you want to have an Xbox One in your house because you have to play Halo and you have to play Gears. But, like, that's not their strategy at all.
Yeah, they're dumbasses. Oh, you can just play it on PC now.
They're doubling down on hardware, not software. You know, yeah. And, like, that's not what you need to be doubling down on when you've already lost the hardware race. Yeah, you can have the latest and greatest piece of technology, and the Xbox One X is impressive, and I do ultimately kind of want to get one, but, like, there's not any fucking games to play on it. You know what I mean? And, like, you're not fighting the right battles, you know? That's sort of my report card for Microsoft, you know? Like, if I had to put a letter grade, I think it'd be kind of stupid and fun to put a letter grade on these. I don't want to go as far as to give them an F, but, like, they gotta get, like, a D. They gotta get a D. Because, like, man, like, they gotta get a D at least, because, like, they're fucking... Their strategy is all fucked up, you know? And I think they're gonna sell a lot of Xbox One X's this year, but, like, you're not going to have any games for your fans to play. And that that gives you a failing grade for me, sir. A failing grade indeed. Moving on to Sony, this fall is kind of light for Sony.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I was kind of looking through the releases, and I think they literally just have GT Sport coming this fall. Again, I can't believe they don't have like Days Gone and Detroit coming this fall. But 2018 is going to be a great year for them. We'll get into that some other time. This is about this year. But this year has been great up until now. They've got games like Neo and Horizon, and they just released Uncharted and Everybody's Golf, which everybody's loving, and I kind of want to play because I haven't played a good golf game in like years.
Okay.
Anyway, and then they've secured this kind of deal with Destiny 2. I mean, they're even like going as far as to, they don't have a lot going into this fall, but they have all these third-party deals going on where it's like the place that you're going to want to play these games. Like, I am so glad I'm not trying to wait for the PC version of Destiny 2, which is coming out, like, more than a month away, and it's fucking gonna be, like...
Before we go on from Destiny, like, that I didn't even know this was the exclusive weapon, but the Borealis is the exclusive exotic, right?
Yeah.
That's such a good weapon.
That's a great weapon, and, like, they're not gonna get... I don't think they're even getting, like, I don't know which strike it is, but I think there's a PS4 exclusive strike as well. So, like... It just, like PS4 is doing everything right, in my opinion. Like, Sony has all these great exclusives. Yeah, it's a bit of a light fall, but they have all these great exclusives, and it's also the best place to play the third-party games. Mm-hmm. The only fuck-up, and the reason I'm not going to give Sony an A, I'm going to give Sony a B, and this is why. And I've been talking about this in private with you a lot lately.
You know what's funny as shit?
What?
Is I legit called you giving it a B because I was giving Sony a B my damn self.
So we're both giving Sony a B. Sony's getting a B from us because the PS4 Pro, I love my PS4 Pro. You have one as well. I think mm-hmm. It's great. I have a 4K TV, which is beautiful, and it makes games look beautiful on my 4K TV. Why the fuck did they not put a 4K Blu-ray drive in this thing? Are you shitting me? Like, I mentioned this on the podcast. I've mentioned this on this podcast at some point. I bought La La Land on 4K Blu-ray, and I go to put it in, it doesn't recognize the disc. And I'm like, hang on, are you shitting me? This thing, Sony owns the Blu-ray technology, and they did not put a 4K Blu-ray drive in this thing? Are you shitting me? And that's the main... If the PS4 Pro had a 4K Blu-ray drive, I would not even give the Xbox One X the time of day. Like,
that's some real shit right there.
It's such a bummer to me, and that's why they get a B from me. Because coming into this fall, I look at my PS4 Pro and I love it, and it's by far the most played thing in my house right now. But like, I look at it, I'm just like, you're trying to double down on 4K, but you're doing it with a half step. You know what I mean? Like, if you're trying to go full 4K, go full 4K. Like, I would have gladly paid an extra $50 to $100 for a PS4 Pro that had a 4K Blu-ray drive in it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Sony gets a B from us. Nintendo. This isn't going to shock you because I'm such a huge Nintendo fan.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm going to give it the same grade, but go on.
I'm such a huge Nintendo fan. I'm not going to give them... I'm going to give them a good grade. I'm going to give them the best grade out of all three of these because I think Nintendo, this is the best year in their history, in my opinion. They're riding even higher right now, I would say, than they did in terms of just pure video games. I'm saying they're riding even higher than they did with the NES, with the Wii. Like, Nintendo is on such a high right now. They've released games like, the system launched with Breath of the Wild, and they've got, Splatoon, they've got ARMS, they've got even like indie games that are coming to Switch. They've got an embarrassment of riches, as we say. And this fall coming into it, they've got Mario Odyssey, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I can't believe is actually making this holiday season. Even like Fire Emblem Warriors, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, like they've got some amazing stuff coming this fall. Like, this fall is just filled with shit. And like, just in terms of pure video games, like they've just got so much, and the Switch is such a great piece of hardware that is selling so well. They are expecting to sell 10 million Switches by the end of their first fiscal year. That's beautiful. By the end of Nintendo's first fiscal year with Switch on the market, they're going to almost outsell the Wii U's lifetime.
That's fucking... Oof.
if their projections are met, and so far they are. Literally, they've increased supply, and they are still not able to meet demand. They cannot keep Switches on the shelf. And I mean, it's really kind of amazing to see as a Nintendo fan, like, and the third-party support. Like, Nintendo has been listening, dude. Like, the third-party support is rolling in. Fucking Wolfenstein 2 is going to be on this thing. Like, Doom is going to be on this thing. Like,
and shit, apparently Doom runs like fucking good.
Yeah, and they say
say
it's a good port of Doom on the Switch. Like, it's nuts. You're going to be able to take Doom with you wherever you want. And like, I'm going to have Mario in the palm of my hand. Like, it's nuts. It's fucking nuts. So like, you know, the only reason why Nintendo is not getting an A+ from me, I'm going to give them an A. They are not going to get an A+ from me for just, you know, one kind of simple reason. They've been doing some weird things with their online. So, like, the Nintendo Online Services app, the weird kind of solution to voice chat that nobody uses, the fact that Virtual Console is still not on here. Are you shitting me? Like, are you shitting me? Like, really? It's getting a little ridiculous. Virtual Console is still not on the Switch.
Yeah. And
you guys are going to try to, next year, start charging for online, and you don't even have Virtual Console up and running yet? Like,
how much are they trying to charge?
It's,
like, well,
it's cheap.
Like not a lot.
It's cheap. I think it's literally like $20 a year.
Oh shit! That's
and apparently every month you get a free like NES game or something that has online functionality, which is weird. That's the only reason they don't get an A+ for me. This has been an incredible year to be a Nintendo fan. I wake up every day so happy to be a Nintendo fan, and I have so many great Nintendo games. Like, even like Mario plus Rabbids is apparently really good. Like, shit, like Nintendo even makes me want to pick up a fucking Rabbids game. You know, like, coming into the fall, Nintendo gets an A from me. Not quite an A+. What would you give them?
An A.
Okay.
Because I do agree with you on that point with the Virtual Console and all that shit.
Okay, so we're in agreement. Microsoft D, Sony B, Nintendo A. I think that's right. Anyway, is there anything else you wanted to bring up in terms of the fall report card and our weirdly mean topics?
I think that really covers it, man. Like, we kind of...
It's been a good...
Stuck them right between the ribs.
Yeah, well, shit. I think, yeah, this has been just kind of a nice kind of like... there's a lot of meat to chew on with this episode, a kind of good video game-centric episode. This really scratched that itch for me. Because, I said, I wanted to do like a video game-centric episode. And that's what this has been. It's kind of longer than I thought it would be, and it's kind of nice to just sit and just hash all this shit out and fuck them and
definitely.
fucking shank them right in the ribs. Anyway, with that, you've been listening to Nerd Bourbon. If you had a good time listening to us bullshit about video games and be mean to developers, and be nice to developers too. We gave some of these guys good grades. Throw us a follow or a sub on whatever service you'd like to listen to us on. If there's a service that we are not currently on that you want us on, let me know.
Wait, stop.
Oh, God damn it. I know it. I know it's coming.
I'm disappointed in myself.
You have failed this city, sir.
Dude, if you saw my face as you were reading reading this, I'm like, oh wait, fuck.
You failed this city. You failed this city.
I have failed this city.
Let's don't even say it. Don't just let me continue.
Okay.
You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdbourbon, and we're at nerdbourbon on Twitter. And beyond that, the best and only way for us to grow is for you to tell your friends. Thank you for listening. Get fucking dunked on in loving memory of Skate 4. Bye.
See ya.
Rip Skate 4. Rip. I just want to say that EA is so fucking stupid if they are not making a new Skate. Because towards the end of the conference, chat was blowing up about Skate 4. They wanted Skate 4 to get announced so badly. And in fact, throughout the entire show, they were talking about Skate 4.
Yeah, I was seeing Skate in chat with fucking Nintendo's conference. Well, E3 Direct.
During every conference, somebody was talking about Skate. And, I think it kind of became a joke.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. By the end of it, it definitely became a joke.
By the end of it, they were just kind of like literally anybody could have had a conference and somebody would have been like, Skate. but man, like, clearly people want a new skate, and EA is they're fucking stupid if they're not working on a new skate. But yeah, do you have any closing thoughts? Any closing ideas or anything about E3?
Skate 4.
Yeah, Skate 4. EA, you are fucking up.
And Skate 4.
And Skate 4. I feel like that needs to be a thing. I feel you need to work Skate 4 into at least once.
Oh, I will. Don't worry about it. Skate 4. I think you missed a game.
Did I?
Yeah, Skate 4. Skate 4. I'm gonna go first.
Yeah, you got more to talk about.
It's a little hole in the wall. It's like a couple blocks down. Dude, honestly, some of the best pizza I've ever had in my life.
What's it called?
Skate 4.
Oh, god damn it. Okay. That's my favorite one you've done so far.
Off bad, you got Kurt's Cowardly Dog.
Oh, yeah.
Skate 4. I like Tank. Bartholomew's good. Another good name is Skate 4. Skate 4. Skate 4.
Another one?
Yep. Talking about fans being hungry reminds me of another game.
What's that?
Skate 4.
Anyway, what's next for you?
My favorite BioWare game, Skate 4, aka Jet Empire. Skate 4. The only thought I could truly have is Skate 4.
You've been slacking, dude.
I know, it's been so hard for me. A part of me wants to start doing a disclaimer, like if I don't do it, I don't do it.
You've been slacking. You gotta step your fucking game up. Next week, I expect a good Skate 4.
Wait, stop.
Oh, god damn it. I know it. I know it's coming.
I'm disappointed in myself.
You have failed this city, sir.
Dude, if you saw my face as you were reading reading this, I'm like, oh wait, fuck.
You failed this city. You failed this city.
I have failed this city.
Let's don't even say it. Don't just let me continue.
Okay. Wait, stop. Wait, stop.
Wait, stop.
Wait, stop.